everyone, welcome to the Rugby League History channel. Today I'll be doing my tips for round 6 of the 2023 Betfred Super League. Last week I got 4 out of 6, which were better than the previous week, so let's see how we go in round 6 with the tips. And the first match is on the Thursday, and it's between Huddersfield and St Helens. This one's being played at the John Smith Stadium in Huddersfield, 8 o'clock kickoff, and it's going to be on Sky. Huddersfield have only recorded 3 victories over St Helens since 2018, and the last time that they beat St Helens at the John Smith Stadium were back in 2017. Going into this match, Huddersfield are coming off the back of a very narrow loss to Wigan, and with St Helens they're coming off a very narrow victory over Hull FC. For the Saints, one of the injuries that come out of the Hull FC match were Ben Davies. He's not going to be in the squad for a while. It looks like he's done something to his ankle. As for Huddersfield, I haven't really heard too many injury concerns from their camp. I watched the game between Saints and Hull FC last Friday, and I must admit that St Helens were quite poor. Very clunky. They didn't look very good at all. And I think in the end they were lucky to get the win. If Brad Dwyer takes that crossfield kick and scores, it's Hull FC that win and St Helens lose 3 matches in a row. For this match though, however, St Helens are welcoming back a few players, Hurrell, Matautier and a few others, and I think that they'll be much better this week than they were last week. So I'm going to go for St Helens to win by 4 to 6 points. I think it's going to be a really tight game, but I think St Helens will just edge it in the end. And the first of the 3 matches on the Friday is between Castleford and Warrington. This one's being played at Weldon Road, 8 o'clock kickoff. However, this one won't be on the television. Castleford in 11th at the moment, and Warrington sat top of the table after 5 straight wins. Castleford got their first win of the season last week against Leeds. Going into this fixture, Castleford's won 3 of the last 5 against Warrington, and their record at home against Warrington's not too bad either. I think Castleford will be very confident after beating Leeds last week. That was a much needed win to get them off and running for season 2023. As for Warrington, they've been very impressive. 5 wins in a row, and they were great last week against Leigh. For this match, I'm going to go for Warrington to win 13 plus. I think they're going to be too strong for Castleford there on the Friday night. The second match on the Friday is between Wigan and Salford. This one's being played at 8 o'clock at night from the DW, and it's the Sky game. Wigan have won their last 6 encounters against Salford, and the last time that Salford had a win at the DW Stadium was that infamous 2019 semi-final there at the DW Stadium where Jackson Hastings starred for Salford. Both of these sides come into the fixture having won their last games by a very narrow margin. Wigan won by 2 points over Huddersfield, and as for Salford, they had to go to golden point extra time against Wakefield Trinity. Who would have thought that? But Mark Sneyd was there to save the day, kicked the drop goal to win the game for Salford. This game is really hard to call which way it's going to go. It's a flip of a coin. Both sides have been a bit up and down to start the year. But I will go for Wigan to win very narrowly. I'd probably go for them to win by 6 points. But I think if Salford can keep French, Field and Marshall quiet, then I think Salford could potentially get the victory. And the third match on the Friday is between Wakefield Trinity and Hull Kingston Rovers. This one's also at 8 o'clock kickoff from the Be Well Support Stadium, or as I know it, Bellevue. With Wakefield Trinity going into this match, they got so close to getting their first win of the year last week against Salford, but Mark Sneyd with the drop goal and golden point extra time ended those hopes. Hull Kingston Rovers going into this match coming off a loss as well. Wakefield Trinity have won 4 of their last 6 matches against Hull Kingston Rovers. Also for Hull KR, they've got a few issues with HIAs. I was reading that Jordan Abdul, Hadley and Holton will more than likely all be ruled out with mandatory concussion protocols. However, it looks like they'll be welcoming back Matt Parcell, and I heard that Kane Lynette could also potentially be back for this fixture. I was also reading that this game nearly got moved because there was a pitch inspection by the RFL earlier in the week, and it were 50-50 whether Wakefield Trinity would be able to play this match at Bellevue. There was talk about them having to play a match at Featherstone a couple of weeks ago. But luckily for Wakey and their fans, the match is going to go ahead at Bellevue. This is a really hard game to call. It's very similar to the Wigan and Salford match, because even though Wakefield Trinity has lost all their matches to start the year, Hull Kingston Rovers have a few injury concerns and a few players out already with suspension and injury. So I think this will be a really tight match, but I'm going to have to go for Hull Kingston Rovers to win. I'll go for them to win 1-12 there on the Friday in Wakefield. And now we go on to the Saturday match, and this one is between Leeds and Catalan Dragons. It's a 1 o'clock kick-off at Headingley, and this match will be on Channel 4. Catalan Dragons have won 6 of their last 8 matches against Leeds. However, for Leeds, I did read that Aledzki is potentially going to be back for this match, which is a big boost for them. As we all know, Cruz Lehman has either been released by the club or is getting released by the club, which isn't good news for Leeds supporters. And also, I read that James Bentley, surprise, surprise, has been suspended again. Leeds coming to this fixture after coming off a disappointing loss against Castleford. I tipped Leeds to win that game, and they didn't play too well. With Catalan Dragons, they're the only other unbeaten side in the league besides Warrington. And Tom Johnston, he's on fire this year. I think he scored 8 tries in 5 games already for Le Drac. I know that Catalan don't have the best record outside of France, but I think they're playing exceptionally well at the moment. And I'm going to go for Catalan Dragons to win 13+ at Headingley on the Saturday. And the final match to close out round 6 is between Hull FC and Leigh. This one's being played at the MKM Stadium, 3 o'clock kickoff, and this one won't be on the telly. Since the start of the season, I think that Leigh have been quite good in their return back to Super League, and they've been competitive in every single game. As for Hull FC, as I mentioned before, I watched the game against St Helens. I think that they were very, very unlucky to lose that game. If Brad Dwyer catches that ball, they score, they win. It's simple as that. But both of these sides are up with a big chance of winning on Saturday. With Leigh, they've only beaten Hull FC twice since 1993. And the last time that these two sides met, Hull FC beat them 64 points to 22. This is another really hard game to call. I think this game will probably be a bit high scoring, so I think both teams will score more than 20 points. I'm going to go for a bit of an upset. I think that Leigh can win this match. I don't tip them too often, but I think Leigh can win 1-12 there on the Saturday in Hull and pull off a bit of an upset. So that concludes my video for the 2023 Betfred Super League Round 6 tips. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know in the comment section below. Let me know who you're tipping and let me know how you went last week. My next video will be the View from the North podcast with Just Rugby League. We generally do it on a Wednesday night about 8 o'clock England time. So if you are free, then you can join us, and we're generally on for about an hour. Anyways, everyone, catch us all later. Tatty bye.